For those who don't know, Mint Squad was a YouTuber who usually did video game challenges. Actually, that was his primary YouTube thing for a while. He would play video games such as mostly Bethesda games, so like Fallout 4, Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Skyrim. He would do these challenges since these games were open world. Replayability was quite high, especially with Bethesda games. Randomness was quite high. So there was a lot you could do in it. And what Mint Squad did for the last, I would say 4, maybe 5 years, since he was really getting popular, he would do these challenges. And these challenges would mostly hinder him. They were mostly like, can you beat Fallout without a Pip-Boy? Can you beat Fallout with this like really crappy gun? And I think probably one of his most infamous videos, I think that got a lot of people's attention, certainly mine. This is one of the first videos I've seen of him, was the Can You Beat Skyrim with Only a Fork? For those who don't know, in Skyrim, I believe Elder Scrolls, there is a weapon fork that you can use as a weapon, and it's the least damaging weapon in the game. At max rank and upgrades, it does 4 damage. And a lot of enemies have usually a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 or so on. I haven't really played those games in a while. But anyways. And what he would do is he would do these challenges and he would go over his time playing them. And at the same time, too, it was his dry, straightforward humor that got a lot of people's attention. And it's very funny. And I think a lot of people's humor either came from him or was kind of solidified with him, because his humor was quite, I don't want to say unique, but it is like a specific type of humor that not a lot of people have. I think it's like the closest you can say would be probably like Oni Plays or something like that. So like Zach Hadel, Chris O'Neill, and that was his shtick. However, for those who don't know or forgot, unfortunately, it was well known that he was a drinker. And at first, everyone was playing it off, even him. They think it was like an infrequent thing of him getting drunk. And he did live streams he was drunk, and he did a couple challenges where, he drank. However, it soon became apparent to both him, his family, and friends, and everyone else on YouTube that his drinking wasn't fun and games. He unfortunately did have an addiction to alcohol. He was an alcoholic. And this led to him a couple of times ending up in the hospital. I believe it was either 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago. He made a post on YouTube that and on Twitter that he went to the hospital. His blood alcohol content ratio was so high that a lot of the doctors think he wouldn't have made it over the night. And by some miracle, he did survive that night. And I think this was the wake-up call he needed. We don't know how long he's been like this for a while. From what his father has said on Reddit, which I'll get to later, it seems like ever since he was, by the time he turned 21, that's when he started drinking. Obviously, because here in the United States, you can get alcohol when you turn 21. Some states like, New York, you have to be 21 to get also cigarettes. So for a little over a year, he made strides to make sure he was, sober. And one of the things he did before that post was that he made a face reveal. And this was one of those face reveals where it was like kind of somewhat known that he wasn't the most handsome guy compared to like what standards of beauty is. But a lot of people actually, believe it or not, in the comments were actually quite generous and actually quite very nice, because they were like, you know what, the voice matches the face, which is rare. I mean, if you look at with people doing, usually it's like leaked or forced face reveals. So I guess Dream and Corpse Husband. I don't watch those people, but I do know little bit of what happened. Where Min Squad was more of a, because he hit 1 million subscribers, so that was his 1 million subscriber special. And then a few videos he did where his face was out and about. But things were really good. He was doing really good. He was sober, and he was he was pumping out some videos every couple months or so. So it was good. However, I think for everybody at this point knows, right before Thanksgiving, actually it was it was on Thanksgiving, he made a post on YouTube and Twitter that unfortunately he fell off the wagon again, and he really hit himself hard with the drinking. It was so bad. We already knew he had basically cirrhosis of the liver, and his kidneys were failing, and probably some other issues too. So, but from what it sounded like, he was going to make it again, and a lot of people were, doing it. But then it was quiet for a while, and then, unfortunately, between obituaries in his local area, I think he lived outside of Detroit, and everyone know his name was Paul. And then eventually on Reddit, someone made an account and proved with his Min Squad's milestone plaques and other achievements and the infamous cheese in the jar that it was his father, and he did say that Paul from Min Squad had passed away. And we would find out later that he did die from basically complications from alcoholism, so mostly cirrhosis of the liver. And this hit a lot of people, including me. This took me aback. Now, I know from probably what the few of you know from my posts and my videos that I don't have a lot of sympathy for people with severe addictions. For example, like what happened with Min Squad. However, with Min Squad, while yes, his family and friends did suffer from, once in a while his outbursts, but also to his self-destruction, he didn't have a wife and kids or a partner or anything that, would have negatively affected harshly. And he was an adult too, so there is that level of, he was mostly hurting himself, of course, more than his family, but of course his family, they lost a son, and obviously I think for a parent, I would assume the worst thing that could happen to you is, you lost your child. Yeah, I don't think any parent should ever go through something like that. That is pretty awful for the most part. And of course everybody was hurt. I was taken aback, I was sad, and everyone was just shocked because we thought he was doing good, but he had demons. And it was rough, but people were very nice for the most part on YouTube and on Reddit and Twitter. A lot of people gave their condolences to his family, and his dad made some posts on Reddit, and it was really nice because his dad was like talking to some of his fans, his longest fans and some of his friends, and he was trying to understand like some of the inside jokes and all the references he made. It was really nice. It was really sweet. It was really sweet. And then when his burial came and his tombstone and the memorial was made, a lot of people actually came from not only around the country, from a couple other countries too, went to his grave, and they left flowers, they left little mementos, forks. I saw someone made a personalized fork. It was really sweet. But of course, with online deaths, with someone who's famous, you got some of the people who made jokes, and some of them were kind of funny, but a lot of times they were just awful. It's especially towards his parents, and some of them like try to dox him, and it's just awful. It's just awful. There's a line between making fun of I'm saying a good person too. From everything, he's donated money to like his local animal shelters because he loved dogs. he was a really nice guy, and just all that stuff happened was pretty bad. And then last night I found out that the subreddit might be locked because there were so many people saying really awful things. And I think one of the things I really want to talk about is the incels. Now, I think we all know what incels are, and I think we all know the terminology, so I'm not going to go into it. I make fun of this stuff all the time. It's just really fucking stupid. It's really funny to me. Like, all the terminology is really stupid, and all the people who take it way too seriously is really funny. But anyways, there's been a couple of YouTube videos who made videos on Min Squaw's death, and a lot of the time they basically said that the reason why Min Squaw was an alcoholic and he ultimately died, and in a way he technically killed himself, so in a way it could have been a suicide, we don't know, if the alcohol was some sort of suicide, was that he was not handsome and not, he was ugly. I'm using quotations on my fingers, you don't see obviously. And that's just fucking awful. Now, beauty is subjective. Beauty is subjective, and I think most people would agree that. I think it's more of a 50-50 thing. I think, like, the 50% of what you look into for, like, a relationship, you want to be with someone, is, of course, appearance. But that's subjective. Some people have a little bit more openness, like me, or some people have a little bit more kind of tight-knit. Everyone has their own... they have their own likeness that they look for, and that's fine. That's fine, But when you be an asshole and you project it, is an issue. In most circumstances, and then the other 50% is personality. I think for the most part, I don't think a lot of people want to be with someone who's a total asshole and a control freak. I think it has to be that mutualness. But also communication is obviously is key. I think most people would agree. So these incels who made these videos say that the reason, he died was because, he was ugly and he had no hope of finding love. And that's just fucked up. I mean, let's be honest here. There's 8.1 billion people on this planet. Let's say even half that are assholes. Okay, there's still 4.05% of the population, a billion people on this planet. The likelihood of you not finding someone is very slim, and the reason why a lot of these incels say it is because a lot of times they're assholes. A lot of them are racist, misogynistic. They're just they think of themselves too highly rather than being humble to themselves. Now, I'm not a looker. I am ugly as shit. Obviously, you don't know what I look like, but I'm not. I look like the fedora guy, but much worse, and just as heavy, just as fat. But I even know that there's people out there who probably like me or even love me if they got to know me. Sure, am I not the nicest person? No, I don't think anyone's wholeheartedly nice. I mean, I think I'm nice, but I'm not. You'll see in the future. I don't want to get into it because that's a little something for the future. But anyways, it's just really messed up that people just assume that just because he did have some sort of birth defect where his face was a little, it was a little bit disproportionate, but it's not like, it's not like he's like one of the goblins from Lord of the Rings. He looked fine for the looked better than me, goddamn. So it's just it just bothers me because the guy's dead. He's really nice, and then you're just saying basically, well, he kind of deserved to die because you know what? He was ugly. He was never going to have anything in life. What's the point? And it's just fucked up. It really is, And I wanted to make a post about how I feel about those people, but I think I'm going to leave the more hateful things I have to say about people and things in with the music, which will come up eventually. But I just want to talk about Mid Squad. This is something I've been sitting on since since Christmas, because I know this is not as articulate as I wanted it to be, but I I just want to talk about it because I just want to get off my chest. And it is just awful of what happened to Paul. He had so much going on, yet he had issues, and I think everyone has issues. I see a doctor about things, and I think most people should, especially how messed up this world is. But he brought a lot of inspiration to people, and he makes me laugh. I still watch his videos, and hopefully people keep going on with his style. I've seen a lot of people keep going with his style of challenge videos. A lot of big people, a lot of the XX at Bethesda are aware, and I think there's a petition to have Paul as like a character in the next Bethesda game or something. So that's really nice. But I just want to get off my chest about everything. I miss the guy. He was really funny. I think he did a lot of good, and I just hate to see people throw him under the bus just because of his looks, which is just so beyond childish, but also just not truly a human trait to do. That's like beyond not normal, or like even against the grain. That's like not even close. So that's it. I think the next video I want to talk about the Ruby Justice League movies, and then the Has-Been Hotel. And then after that, I think I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the music. I think a lot of people are expecting, hey, this is supposed to be a music channel. It is. I'm still working on some stuff, but I am going to make more videos talking about like the process of writing songs, what you need, how to get the inspirations, maybe some band recommendations to kind of get your head going a little bit. So do look out those. Hopefully that will come out either this week or next week. Depends on upload speed. So that's it for now. Thank you for listening. If you listened all the way, I know the last video was a bit of a ramble. This one too. Get used to it if you like this channel. But I'm going to expect everyone drops off 30 seconds. So I don't blame you. But hey, this is just me. All right. Thank you very much. This is Kill 'em all, kill 'em off. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Also, hope you like the visual candy you're looking at. This is a little treat for you because we have shitty weather. So, cherish it as much as you can, because you're not going to get this too often. All right, enough fucking around. See ya.